aren't you?
Yeah, back up a little bit.
Did you pay more for these seats or less? I want to know. How we doing, guys? We feeling good?
Yeah.
Everyone survived the snowpocalypse out here. That's good. Does anybody else like winter weather better than summer?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm in the north now. These are my people. I love winter. I do. I'm a bigger guy. If you can't tell from the back, I'm 14 feet tall. I like winter clothing. Winter clothing creates a lot of what lawyers call reasonable doubt. Right? You put on a baggy sweatshirt, you grab like a bottle of Gatorade, you go out into the world, nobody knows what's going on under there. I think Under Armour should change their slogan to maybe it's muscle. I like winter. I like summer too. Summer's good. You got what, baseball, you got vacations, you got Jesus' real birthday, look it up. I sweat a lot though. I'm already sweating up here, you can see like the summer. My least favorite thing about the summertime has to be the heat. My favorite thing about the summertime, no school shootings. It's nice, right? A little 3-month break for all of us. Guys, thank you so much for coming out here. We appreciate it. Is everyone, no one's feeling sick, right? Nobody's here spreading your flu germs for the rest of us? You can leave. I'm big, I can make you. I hate being sick, that's the thing. Like, I had the flu last year, and it was so bad I actually had to pay money to go to a doctor, which I'm a comedian, so I don't do that. And they gave me medicine. They gave me an inhaler, which I had asthma as a child, but I haven't used an inhaler since I was like 12. And it actually kind of made me feel like a kid again to have that, you know? Like I went home, I made SpaghettiOs for lunch. I watched cartoons all day. My parents got divorced again. It was It was 26 years ago, man. You can laugh at that. All the medicine the doctors gave me had that same warning on it. You guys know the warning? Do not take if you consume more than 3 alcohol drinks per day. And I read that, and I was like, for the first time I realized that if I wanted to get better, I had to stop drinking. So I died of the flu. Yeah. If you guys are not drinking tonight because you're driving or you're boring, that's fine. But if you are drinking, please keep doing so. I've discovered I'm much funnier when the audience is drunk. I performed at a sober comedy show this summer, and it did not go well. Well, technically it was a funeral, but I decided to tell a few jokes. R.I.P. Grandpa, we miss you. No, that's not true. Actually, this is true. My grandfather died the day I turned 22 years old. Yeah, which be careful with your birthday wishes, guys. Don't wish angry. No, you got it, yeah. He was very sick. He'd been in the hospital for a while, and the whole family was gathered there with him, you know, and it was just a very lackluster rendition of Happy Birthday that day. They phoned it in. I made him do it 3 times, too. I'm like, come on, guys, a little energy. Who died? Oh, he did? My grandfather was blind, which I know you're not supposed to joke about, but he told me once that blind people actually really like jokes about blind people. So, well, he told that to someone he thought was me. I never talked to him. Blind people are creepy. Yeah. I drove 10.5 hours to make fun of blind people in Fort Wayne, Indiana, guys. Anyone celebrating anything today? Anyone celebrating any births or deaths or anything? What do we got? Birthday. How many is that? 40. All right. So you're still pretty young then. Happy birthday, man. He just called you out. He's like, you think 40's bad? Check this out. Look what I'm working with over here. No, happy birthday, that's awesome. My wife and I recently celebrated a milestone, 10 years of marriage. Like, yeah, thank you. Like 7 of them happy, which is pretty good. It's a solid C, you know. C's get degrees. A lot of my friends that I do comedy with, they're not married, and they'll ask me, like, what's it like to be married? Which is, you know, a hard question to answer, I think. For a long time I didn't know how, but recently something happened where now I know how to answer that question. Earlier this year, my wife received an award from her work. My wife is the director at an early education child development center, which is like a preschool that costs 4 times as much. And she'd been there for 15 years. So they had a big party, they had drinks, they had food. I was not invited. No, I had a show out of town. But they were drinking, so I went and I picked her up at like 11:30 at night, right? And the first thing she says when we get in the car, she says, "I want mac and cheese." Which my wife's a vegetarian, so our house never doesn't have mac and cheese. But I was like, I don't want to make that, I'm tired. She's like, "I want mac and cheese." I was like, look, you're gonna like get home and go to sleep. You don't need mac and cheese. But she wanted mac and cheese, so what do you think I did, guys? I made her the mac and cheese. Yeah, I'm not an idiot. She took a shower, I heated it up, and then I like transferred it into a different bowl so it wouldn't be too hot for her in bed, because I'm a romantic. And I'm bringing the mac and cheese down the hallway to her, and I get to the bedroom, and guess what? She's asleep. Yeah, it's adorable, right? So I woke her up. And I made her eat every bite of that macaroni and cheese. And to me, that's marriage. Just 2 people involved in a transaction neither of them want to be doing purely out of spite. That's what marriage is at 10 years, guys. My wife's much better looking than I am. Shocked silence from the audience. I'll take that. She is. I think that's pretty normal. I think most guys, if you're in a relationship with a woman, you don't want to be the pretty one, right? Like, no guy wants to bring a girl home to their parents and have them be like, "Okay, yeah, is she funny?" Yeah? Which is probably the hardest part of being gay, just deciding who the ugly one is, right? Now, that's a good joke, guys. I told that to some friends of mine. I'm going to defend it. Some friends of mine, they were married, they are gay, and I told them that joke, and they looked at each other, and you could tell that up until that moment, they both thought they were the pretty one. And 2 months later, they got divorced. So that's a solid joke. That's powerful, you know? My wife doesn't age. That's the thing. My wife and I have been together since she was like 21 years old, and she still basically looks the same. It's insane. I do not. At this point, I look like the package you would have used to ship 21-year-old me in. You know? It's like a bigger, bulkier version. It's the same general shape. You can kind of tell what's inside, but it's all smooth, and there's like water stains on it and dents where it's like bounced around the back of a van. I'm like a travel guitar case with a drinking problem, basically, is how I would describe myself. Now, a lot of people who are single, they want to talk about how it's better to be single than it is to be married, right? Like, is there anyone single here tonight? Oh, yeah. All right. Is it good? Is it nice? Yeah. And married people will tell you that it's better to be married. Are there any married people here? Yeah. By the rules of math, you should all raise your hand except for these 2 ladies. There's only 2 options there. I had a friend of mine tell me, he's like, "Man, I can't be in a relationship. I like to eat when I want. I like to sleep when I want. I like to use the bathroom when I want." I was like, "You're describing a baby right now. What are you talking about?" I kind of tend to believe the single people more than I do the married people, though. When married people start to tell you about how happy they are being married, their eyes kind of take on that glazed look of like a recovering alcoholic. Like 6 months into AA, they're like, "No, I'm happy now. I thought I was happy before, but I wasn't. That wasn't real happiness. This is what happiness looks like. And I just have to wake up every morning and remind myself that this is what it feels like to be happy." Did anybody here have a good Christmas?
Yeah.
All right. I didn't. I was supposed to be in Hawaii over Christmas this year. My mother last year was diagnosed with cancer, and she beat it. She had surgery, she went for treatment, and she got a clean bill of health. Thank you. I'm a hero. You're right. And to celebrate, we were going to take her on this trip to Hawaii because she's never been there. Can you believe that? So I was planning everything out, and then in October, my wife found out she was going to be laid off for a couple of months. They were doing renovations and stuff. So I had to tell my mom and my brother who were going to go with us, like, "We can't go on this trip in December. Can we push it back a few months? Or I guess you guys can just go without us." And so they did. They just went to Hawaii without us. And they still made me plan the whole trip for them. Because I'm so good at it. I'm like, it's just Google. I'm not doing anything crazy here. So I had to go home and just go to Christmas with the rest of my family by myself, which was fine. We spent more time with my wife's family than I think we normally would have because my mom wasn't there. Which my wife's family, we found out this summer they had a family reunion, and they didn't tell my wife and I about it. They didn't even tell us it was happening. Yeah. And on the way home, I asked my wife, I'm like, why didn't your family tell us about the reunion? And she said that sometimes they think that I act like I think I'm better than them. Yeah, I was shocked. I'm like, they seriously called me egotistical? And then I had to explain to her what egotistical means because she's dumber than me. Which isn't her fault. Her whole family's dumber than me too. Guys, we have a fantastic show for you tonight. Thank you so much for coming. Now give yourselves a round of applause here. Your next comic coming up, you've seen him on Gotham Comedy Live. You've seen him on the Jack Ingalls Comedy Tour. Please give it up for my good friend, Mr. Rod Reyes.